As Stuart said, I'm Tristan Shaffer. I'm one of the attorneys with Axelrod and Associates. When Kate brought us in this, or had contacted us about this, I had said thank you to her because of the fact that this is something that clearly Stuart is passionate about, and I'm passionate about too, because we get to help some people. One of the things that bother me a great deal, and there's plenty of good cops out there, okay? But one of the things that bother me is whenever we basically can charge someone and arrest someone and throw someone in jail, not necessarily because of what they did, but because of the fact that they annoyed the police, okay? There's a term out there that in the criminal defense and some police circles called POP, pissing off the police. And a lot of times that's what's actually motivating some of the people getting arrested. Here we had a situation where the city made a concerted effort to come down here and throw people in jail. They made a concerted effort to do that. They planned it. They brought a paddy wagon. This is not, hey, I see a crime happening and I'm going to arrest somebody. This is, let's run these people out of town. They don't have anywhere else to go. And jail isn't the right answer for this situation. And if the city thinks that jail is the right answer, they're going to learn really quickly that it's certainly not the financially best option for them to take, because we're going to sue them if this happens. Now, Stuart alluded to this earlier, and we were going to do this press conference outside, but literally where you guys set up your cameras is pretty much exactly where Mr. Buchanan was at whenever he was arrested for being in the roadway. And what was he doing? What you guys were doing. The exact same thing. Filming. Filming because he was exercising his First Amendment right to do so. He's been criticizing the city's management, the homeless situation for a long time. And he was a known person, known not because of the fact that he's been in trouble, but known because of the fact that he's a critic. And I probably need to apologize. I apologized to him last night. I asked him, have you ever been arrested before? And he told me no. And I said, oh, really? Like, I had a surprise. Why? Because of the fact that despite the fact that I like to think of myself as a good person, I have preconceived notions just like a lot of other people out there. And people need to get that back away from, or get that out of their head. Because Mr. Buchanan never has been arrested until this weekend. Never. He was a successful person by all accounts. And then that twist of fate happened, and things piled up and things went bad. And for a long time there, he was homeless. And he's still trying to get on his feet. I think that Stuart made a good point that everyone should definitely try to come down here and speak with some people. And most of what we're going to talk about today, the rest of this conference, is going to be related to the actual problem and not necessarily our lawsuit, okay? Because that's what you guys should be reporting on. You should be building awareness for the actual problem here. But we did file a lawsuit. We think that the city officers and the city has been allowing their officers to make arrests under the loitering statute whenever it wasn't actually loitering. Because clearly what happened the other day was not for any sort of nefarious purpose. It was not for any sort of wrongdoing. It was just to kick people out of this place because they didn't want them here. That's not what loitering is. That's not a criminal offense. Being homeless in this town is not a criminal offense. We've also filed a lawsuit for Mr. Buchanan, which is a little bit different. And the one we filed for Mr. Buchanan is because he was exercising his First Amendment rights, and they decided to arrest him for it. Okay? They decided to come after him and arrest him for it. Not because he was walking down the middle of the road, which you can't walk down the middle of a road if you have a sidewalk. That is the law. He didn't walk down the middle of the road. He stepped out in the road pretty much exactly where your cameras were at whenever we were initially setting up outside. There were no cars coming. The police had blocked the roadway, and they arrested him for it. Why? Because he was exercising his First Amendment rights. I think that this is a very critical issue, and we have a whole lot of other lawsuits coming. We just didn't have a time to file them all. So we have multiple other people waiting to file, or we're going to be filing on other individuals in the coming days. And we just ask that the city really take a look, and a long, hard look at their decision on how they were going to handle it, and whether or not that was a good decision. And we certainly think that arresting people and throwing people in jail because you don't like them here is not a good decision. Now, like I said, I'm going to bring Kate up here because she is a wonderful person and can tell some wonderful things. So, come on.
I want to add one more thing. I'm going back to the loitering statute. One second. I'm going back to the loitering statute, section 1485. There's a part of it, section B. It's a big statute, section B. And it says, a peace officer shall, prior to any arrest, so before a police officer arrests anybody for an offense under this section, loitering, they must afford the actor, that's the person being arrested, an opportunity to dispel any alarm which would otherwise be warranted by requesting him to identify himself and explain his presence in the conduct which was observed and raised suspiciously. The cop has to say, hey, why are you here? Daniel, why are you here? Mr. Smith, why are you here? Mr. Jones, why are you here? They just took him. They violated the city statute. Just wanted to bring that out. Here's a lady that deserves some applause.